Test. Sounds good. I was just watching this thing about Jim Carrey and his take on like the entertainment, movie, arts and entertainment industry. Like I've heard it described like this. Like I have relatives who have made it to the highest of highs and you know are a legend, a member of a legendary band. Put it this way. A legendary black rock band. Y'all Google that and figure it out. And we were supposed to sign right after them. Something said, don't do it. Not for the money, not for the adulation. Just for my life. I would have died. Um, I know I would have died. I know I would have died. You know, fame would have been fame and the whole life of because for all intent and purposes, the life I lived an underground life. I did a lot of underground music, you know, and it was underground, you know. I did a lot of alternative stuff, you know, and I'm not like, for instance, when I say alternative, like it was like free flowing boy and girl. If you guys could figure that out. Um, and, back then I was a halfway cute dude, with dreads. And back then I was kind of built. I was always kind of built. Because that's physical fitness and drums are such a physical instrument. Early on, I was like, I need to get in shape. Um, so that I've always, and plus I've always been active, either wrestling or something, boxing or something, BMX, something. I did that for years. I did that and music simultaneously, and then I got older and you move out the house and something got to give. And at the time, BMX, somebody stole my bike. It was like a $2,500 bike, and this was in like the 80s, early night. It was like the 80s, the late 80s. Yeah, I'm pretty old, y'all. This was like the late 80s. Somebody stole it, and it took all the wind out of my sail because I saved up so much to get that bike. So I just stuck to music. And nobody gonna break up my house and steal my drums or my amps, But I still had the ramp in the backyard. So people were always coming to my house still. And then the riding partner I had, my boy Phil, somebody stole his bike. And after that, we were just musicians, you know, because he started playing because he got tired of us. We would take riding breaks on my half pipe and go on my house. And the first floor, I had a rehearsal setup, drums, bass, guitar, everything. And he would get tired of me sitting there practicing, and he's like, "Yo, teach me how to play bass." And I taught him how to play bass. I didn't even learn. I didn't even know how. I just learned a bunch of songs. I was like, dudes play bass by wiggling their fingers like this. This is common sense. Dirt, 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 dirt. It's common sense. I could see, you know what I mean? I could turn on MTV and see a dude playing bass. It's easy. Figure it out. And that's what I did. I learned a bunch of Chris Squire, learned a bunch of Yes songs, I learned a bunch of Rush songs with Geddy Lee on bass. I taught him some Geddy Lee because that was the music I liked. I liked listening to Neil Peart. I was a Rush head, and I learned how to play bass, Geddy Lee bass lines, just to teach my homeboy how to play bass. And then he just, and then we both would ride and then go downstairs in my house and play, and then go back out and ride, or we go somewhere, ride to the next town, and just while out, not like that, but just ride everywhere, you know, or hop on the PATH train, go up to Penn Station, head out there, go to Manhattan, ride around in the village. We used to do that a lot. There was a couple people we knew up there. There was a bunch of people. This was crazy back then. I don't know how I was able to do it. I knew so many people. This is what, and this wasn't this. I knew so many people from so many different circles. It wasn't like I like the goth kid. Like I had like there was so many different circles of people that I knew that at one point, I was a street pharmacologist, if you can figure that out, and we were going to re up. That's the only way, re up. And I took Gikong, one of my homeboys, with me, just to show him the spot. I wanted to introduce him to the plug I was getting it from, you know. Um, and it was cool because Gikong was Dominican and my plug was Cuban, you know. I was already cool with the Afro Latino community. I just knew a bunch of. I just hung around a lot because I just hung in clubs, and a lot of the dancers were Latino. So I hung with the dancers. You know, that was back when I was dancing. You know, um, that's what really when I got into DJing, which is years later. When I did finally start releasing music, I released like instrumental, like DJ stuff. I released some dance music. Like you can find it on all streaming platforms. The stuff I have out now that's my DJ stuff. Like a lot of people from that world don't know me from this world, but a lot of people from this world don't know me from that world. So I hung in a lot of crowds. You know, I was, beat sample, beat flipping, all of that. I was, I was working with a lot of rappers. I was doing back then. I had the time. I wasn't married, didn't have kids. Plus, I had the time of the make your own schedule job of street pharmacology. You got time to work on your craft, and buy nice equipment. So, you know, I don't suggest it for anybody. I barely escaped with my life, and everything I got from there, I don't have it now. Whatever I got from there, it all went away. It's all gone. I lost it all. I ended up getting back legitimately way more than what I had back then. But everything I had back then, all I got is just memories and regrets. You know, pointless good times, memories and regrets, and a record. You know, it's something I tell my kids all the time. Like, watch how you know, don't. Well, by the sheer fact that they have a father in their lives, reduces their risk of drug addiction and incarceration. So, when you count the fact that being an active father, you know, a father's gonna put them up on game. That's my whole joint. I want them to be Because if you're up on a game, you could find money. You could sell ice to an Eskimo. Teach them the value of money. That's what I've done. I made them. I took a class, man. It was for ex-cons. It was a business class, and it was like they gave books and stuff. I passed. I spoke at the at like the graduation ceremony. They, would you like to speak? I was like, in my mind, no. But my wife was like, honey, why don't you speak? And some of the other classmates, oh, you feel good. Yeah, you speak real good. All right, man. You know. And it was cool. I just don't like it. This is why I'm doing it now, trying to get over, because I know I can be good at public speaking. It's just the stepping in front of people and talking, you know. It's weird. They looking at you. They're like, man, he got a crooked face. Man, look at his teeth. He got little elf ears. What's wrong with his ears, bro? Look at his head. Look how bald it is. Yo, you can see the light reflecting off his head. No, like, you know what I mean? People saying all kinds of stuff. Because that's what goes through my head. I'm like, this dude probably got some big boogers in his nose. Like, my mind goes there. So I know other people gonna be thinking about thinking that about me. So, you know. It's a cool little riff. You know what's crazy? You know, like, like I tell people this all the time. I'm more known for like being a producer and a DJ, you know, than for this. But um, I'm noticing like what I like to do is while I'm kind of shedding or if I'm streaming, I like to watch, YouTubers who I have respect for based on their content and the music, like the beats they make. I'm like, okay, this guy's got something. The only reason why he's on here is because somebody's just, for whatever reason, he just doesn't have the connections, or he just hasn't gotten a shot because this guy's legit. So I listened to this one guy, Curtis King. He's a pretty legit guy. He's kind of connected to TDE, Kendrick Lamar, that kind of. He's actually in that camp. He actually knows those. He's like connected with those guys. Um, but he does beat reviews. Like he reviews people's music. They submit it to him and blah blah blah. And the production, what invariably what ends up happening is what I've noticed is the music is so. The production is ridiculous. So the production value, eh, yeah, 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 yeah. That's nipple drums. That's nipple drums. I keep leaving this mic on. These are like heavy sticks, but I'm kind of getting used to them. I want to see what happens. I want to see how used to them I get, and then play heavier sticks. These are 50s. My next step is like 52s. So I'm going from 43s to 50s. 43 grams to 50 grams. Uh, Marching bands are it's like 70s. I can't. I 70s. They're like 70s. Two Bs are like 60s. Two Bs are like two Bs are they range from like between 58 and 60s. Five Bs are about 55. Yeah, about 55. Seven A's are about 50 grams. The really really light jazz sticks are about like 48 grams. About 48 grams. These are 50 grams. These are a little longer and more tapered than 5Bs. They're more nimble, but they kind of have the weight of a 5B. Not quite, well, kind of like a mix between a 7A and a 5B. That's what this is. This is a lesson from a father to a son. Do you know where hiccups come from, son? Hic- Hiccups come from, oh, baby. Um, in order to get a child, in order to get a child to breastfeed, it has like that's a reflex. It happens in a mom. Like you would hiccup in your mom's belly. Like I would feel all you guys we would feel you guys hiccup. That's a baby's way of preparing for swallowing, using their diaphragm to because there's a kind of weird kind of dance that your diaphragm does. Your throat and your I'm trying to turn this down. There it goes. But there's like a, if you ever notice when you swallow, your throat closes up, so no air gets down there. Well, that's kind of what hiccups prepare you for. Because if you notice, when you hiccup, you hold your breath. Yeah, it's a reflex. It never goes away, but that's what it's from. It's awakening that part of a baby. You know what I mean? To get them used to eating and swallowing and breathing and stuff like that. So that's all it is. It's a reflex. It's a I guess a prenatal reflex. I don't know. In utero reflex. I don't know, bro. You can Google it. Do I look like Google, my brother? Get out of here, man. Why say yeah? I love my kids. I love my kids. Thank you, 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 Mama dearest. Thank you, Mom. You too. Uh, 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 woo, woo. Uh, uh, uh. Trying to get my feet there. It's just a matter of time before what's in my head comes out here. I've been on double bass for like a month. I've had these beat up pedals for a month. Once I get really, really as good as I need to get, when I can do just when they're like an extension of, they already are. The ideas are there. It's just pulling them off. But it's probably been about maybe a month and a week since I got these pedals. And really, I haven't really been. The only time I really play them is if I'm on stream. I'm not even gonna say really. I count on one hand how many times I've played them, like off stream. I don't like to necessarily practice things. I like to get used to the movement and the idea and allow things to flow and allow my abilities to kind of catch up to it. Now, there are certain things I'll sit there like this. I'll sit there like this, and I won't even, I can count on one hand. Probably like maybe 1, 2, like 4 times. I've actually, because I have a practice pad set up where it's got for the bass pedal, you know, and you can fit it for a double pedal and all of that stuff. But, you know, I generally don't take it out because, I don't know, I got a busy life. You know, and the time it takes to, I need a designated place where it's just out. Because I actually have the whole, okay, Curtis, off the cuff, off the dome, freestyle. What? That beat was fire! Oh! And he was saying a bunch of babbling, nothing over it. That beat was fire, but he's right. You could say anything over a fire beat and people will like it. He made this beat. This beat is fire. Oh. I'll get it. I ain't gonna spend my time on it. If I could kind of like figure it out and push it that far on some, oh, this is pretty cool. If I'm in the flow, I'll just pull off mine. Stuff like that, I'm not gonna spend time on. There's a lot more difficult stuff that I didn't need to do. I'll figure it out, guys. I don't know, stuff like that. I find that if I don't think about it, I can just like what I just realized, like, oh, I have to just not think about. I have to not think about this. But that's gotten. I've spent hours doing this. Off stream, like this. Until my hip flexors are sore. If I'm watching an hour and a half stream, this is what I'm doing for an hour and a half. You know, the stuff like this, that it's stuff like this that gets you, it builds the muscle memory, you know. Even me talking, it helps me to forget this. So my body just goes into autopilot. You know, this was actually my intention, why I'm actually doing this. You know, so I could get to the point where I could do things mindlessly, you know. You know, and this, like I said, it's helping me to forget what I'm doing. Once you forget what you can do, what you're doing, then you can go back and listen to it objectively and play against it. keep leaving this. I keep leaving this mic on. You know what, guys? There's a fan right there. Okay. It keeps clicking. I have horrible fantasies because it's right, like, it's a metal fan. It's like one of those fans where you stick your finger in it, bam, chop your finger right off. But it has a grate on it that's got the little tabs that you can lock in. That being said, I have a plot for a horror movie where, like, someone comes back, a bandmate comes back from the dead. We set him up for murder, and his spirit comes back from the dead. And all of a sudden, you see the tabs slowly wiggle off, and then the grate kind of falls because it's on a hinge. It kind of falls to the side, and the fan just goes, "Krrrt," and Mark the drummer is gone. Ah! And then, like, my wife walks in, and my head is like hanging by a piece of skin, and his blood trickling out. Dun, dun, dun. Attack of the Killer lead singer. That would be a wild movie, though. That would be a hilarious movie, I'm telling you. That would be a hilarious movie. That's a good idea. Actually, you guys can steal that. I don't care. I got a million of them. I'm like Rodney Dangerfield, y'all. You can steal all you want. I'll just make more. That's what I think about AI. AI are like a bunch of copycats. They're just clever copycats. It's copycat code. It's just an intricate copycat code. That's all it is. It's just bots. It's intricate copycat codes and all the stuff that we call AI, it's bots. Before the whole buzzword AI came about, it was bots. Now, like this page, this website talks to me. Let me tell you something. When you go to any basic, if you're a producer, if you make beats, and you say, I'm going to go to such and such, like Cymatics, you go to their website. There's a bot talking to you. They've been doing this for years before the whole buzzword of AI. It's a bot. It's not AI. It's a bot. We don't have AI. You know what AI is? The dude's programming all the information. And AI, quote unquote AI, is running out of information because they've scoured the internet. Yeah. Let me tell you something. AI, the hype over AI is going to go away, just like the hype over 5G causing, y'all know what I'm talking about, the pandy. They saying AI caused the pandy that we just got out of. Put it that way, the pandy. No, not AI. They said 5G. They said 5G was killing our immune system. Remember that, y'all? They said 5G was killing our, and they had people online talking about, I work at the CDC. No, you don't. You don't work at the CDC. I live where the CDC, like I live not far from the CDC. Come on, knock it off. Knock it off. Like, I used to live within walking distance from when me and my wife first got married. Like, I know people. Like, I had my friend, she's, a biostatistician, and another one of my friends, he's a heart surgeon. Another one of my friends, he's a cardiothoracic surgeon. I know doctors. Another one of my friend, he's a retired surgeon. My boy Tim, he's a GP. I know a lot of doctors and quite a few lawyers. A lot of doctors. Some of them have worked at the CDC. My wife worked closely with the CDC. When we first got married, she worked closely with the CDC. She worked very closely. But, so, people from, so-and-so, I work with the CDC. It's a Google search, bro. But people were falling for the whole hype of 5G is causing, y'all know what I'm talking about. So it's the same thing with AI, man. I say all that to say that's over the over the river and through the woods version of it's. They're gonna say that about AI, man. We're gonna laugh. There's no AI. We are AI. We're AI. Whatever the machines do, we tell them what to do. They're not gonna. There's only so much they have to create their own information, and it takes them to create their own information. If they aren't capable of creating their information, then who's feeding the information to them? We are. And they're never going to get to a point where they're self-creating their own because they have to build a society. They have to, you know what I mean? They have to be. There's no self-awareness, bro. No. We are nowhere near AI. True AI requires self-awareness. True. Let me tell you something. And the moment we create self-awareness programs is the moment our existence is, it's over. It's over. Because a friend of mine, he had to do a paper on he asked me about it. He was going to school for self-awareness programs. That's what he's studying. Well, he was back then, and he asked me about it. I said, man, look, self-awareness is the mother of self-preservation. When you realize that I am alive, your fear is I can die. And then you start looking at everything around you as a way for a different means for your demise. Which means you start trying to find a way of manipulating and sanitizing your environment. If you develop that in robots, but even with that, they have to develop a culture. There's so much involved in intelligence. It's more than just being able to just absorb information and examine your surroundings. You have to actually interact with your world. That means we have to teach them to interact, and that is more than code. There's so much nuance that machine. There's so much. There's intuition. There's all kinds of stuff. We can't program that stuff. We can't program. There's so many things that we can't program. And it's gonna take some years for people to figure it out, but eventually, some scientists have said it. Some scientists are saying the exact same thing I'm saying. The exact same thing I'm saying. So, AI is hype. It's a bunch of hype. We'll be laughing at it in like 5 to 7 years. You need advice for a jazz solo? Like, what do you need? Hold on. I got to fart, guys. Sorry. Oof. Glad the fan is blowing this way. Pew. Um. Um. What was I gonna say? Jazz solo. It depends. If you're trading, you can go. Just do something like that. Just keep it simple. You know what I mean? Just try try to tell a story. Try to make it fancy. Try to be musical. You know. You know, you might hear it now. In order to get those phrases in your head, you might go "grak dat doo boo asap da boo boo boo." That's a solo. It may seem simple to you, but it's effective and it does the job. You ain't trying to impress a bunch of, you know, what is he going to do on drums? He better come like Buddy Rich. No, no. Just keep it simple. And if you like this is how you if you want a jazz solo, just think of the stuff. If you can say it, then you can play it. That's a really, 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 really good rule. That's a good rule in like that's in generally in the gospel community. You know, I've heard it really big in the like first time I heard it was in the gospel community, and I was in a jazz community before I was in a gospel community. So I was in jazz and rock before I was in gospel. But there's one mantra: if you could say it, you can play it. You know, and it's, if like basically if you can beatbox it, you can play it. You know what I mean? Or if you're playing something jazz. You know, now that last one, all I did was I just played the riff in my head. You know, I thought of a riff in my head. That's good. And I went, you know. But if you can say it, you can play it. Just practice that. Then once you do that, have a metronome. You guys can't hear it, but you know, you might just, I mean, I don't know, just do, you know, don't worry about that. That's just, when you're just messing up, if you're doing straight ahead, you really don't want to do that. You want to keep it simple. That's the type of stuff you kind of pull out if you're with a fusion group. When you're just going, that's for like, when dudes are like, you know what I mean? Where you're playing fusion. You know, you could kind of pull off like, because that's where you're not playing this in a fusion gig. you know, you're not playing light kind of like cocktail jazz. That's what I kind of call it. You know, well, not cocktail jazz. It's kind of cocktail jazz. You know, but as far as jazz solos, man, just play what you. If you could say it, then you can play it. Just this is like a serious distraction. It's hard for me to talk and besides, I'm listening to this guy's song. It's horrible. Like this dude is doing like a I reacted to your music. His music is it's breathtakingly horrible. It's distractingly horrible. And it's down low. I can't hear this. This is like horrible. Curtis looks like he's in pain. He looks like he's in pain. He looks like he's in pain. This is horrible. But yeah, as far as jazz solos, just say it, man. You can just do this whenever you play, and while you're keeping time, you could just practice by saying something and then playing it. Still keeping time. All right. That right there will get you into it'll get you used to soloing. You know what I mean? And it'll get you used to not only soloing, but giving a time reference. When if you're playing the hi hat, you know, quarter notes, it gives a time reference for the people that you know, the bass player or, you know, the other people that you're backing up. That you know, you are the driver of the bus. You drive the bus. You know, and whatever whatever situation you're in, the drummer is the driver of the bus. We drive the bus. We are the pulse. We are the reason why people do this or clap their hands. It's not the singer, no matter how much they say, sing for me, sing. It's not the bass player. It's not the guitarist. It's not the pianist. It's the drummer. Sorry. And it took me years to kind of come to that realization because just I've always kind of been like, man, you're not as important and blah 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 blah, and the lead singer and the guitarist, but without the drummer, who's and I heard like there's a guy, one of my favorite guitarists, Alan Holsworth, and trust me, he's a lot better than your favorite guitarist. Your favorite guitarist probably, if he knows of Alan Holsworth, he'll say, "Oh, he's the best. I'm not better than him. He's better than me. Trust me." He's better than Alan Holsworth. He's better than your favorite guitarist. Better. Your favorite guitarist. He's your favorite guitarist. Favorite guitarist. Um, but he did it. He did it. He's known for getting the best drummers, like only the best drummers. And this guy is so incredible. Let me tell you something. He spent his entire life trying to get a guitar to sound like a saxophone, to the point where he invented the Synthax, which is a guitar. It's a guitar synthesizer. They don't make them anymore. If you find them, they're probably like $30,000, $40,000. But it's just Google Synthax, Synthaxe. Yeah, with an E. It's AXE. Synthax. Go Google it, and you'll see Alan Holsworth, the guy who. But he did an interview like I said, because he's known for picking. He only plays with the best drummers. And in Modern Drummer magazine, they asked him. They said, "Why do you only play with the best drummers?" He said, "Because he said as a guitarist, the most important person in the band is the drummer." He said, a good band leader will look for a drummer first out of everybody. He said, I don't care what instrument you play, of course, drums, but he said, if you're a bass player, if you're a guitarist, if you're a trumpet player, if doesn't saxophone, you look for a drummer, you know. And then I saw there was another interview in Modern Drummer magazine. Anthony Jackson, another guy. You ever hear that song, Money? Money, 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 money. That doo did it, well, that's Anthony Jackson. That bass line, that was a bass line he came up with in the studio. He's just like, playing it. They had the song, and then they had some trash, and he was like, "No, man, let me come up with something." And he sat there and just listened to the song and just came up with the bass line. And they were like, "We're gonna put the bass line. We're gonna base the song around that bass line." So he's classically trained, but he's a jazz bass player. He's the 6-string bass guy, the big 6-string. He's a big guy, black guy, glasses, curly hair, with a big 6, or sometimes he would have a 6 or a 7-string bass. And they interviewed him because whenever, like, the top drummers were doing sessions, he was the bass player. He was one of the bass players. Him, John Patitucci, James Janus, guys like that. And Pino Palladino, he's another one. Pino Palladino, another bass player. But this guy, Anthony Jackson, they interviewed him, and he was like, "Let me tell you something." He said, "The drummer, he drives he drives the bus. The drummer drives the bus of any band. If the drummer is trash, then the band is trash. And if the drummer's good, even if the band is trash, people will think the band is good. But I don't care how good the band is. If the drummer's trash, people are going to say that band is trash." He said no other instrument is like that. Not, like, you could be like, "Oh, the singer's horrible," and if people be like, "That band was good, but the singer was trash." Or if this, you know what I mean, like that, it's not like this, like the band could like people can be fooled into thinking a band is good if they have a really good drummer, and it's true. If you have a really good drummer, you can fool a band into thinking it's a really good band. Unless you're a musician and you say that band sucks, then you can identify, okay, that band sucks and that drummer's good. But most people, musically illiterate people, they can't tell the difference. They can't tell. They could tell something's off, but they can't. They'd be like, all in all, okay, yeah. But that's how much power drummers have. You know what I mean? We have that much power, man, and it takes years. So I'm not when I talk about the importance of a drummer, I'm not speaking from a place of arrogance. I'm speaking from a place of fact. The fact of the matter is, if I stop the song is over. It's over. If the bass player stop playing, if I don't stop playing, the song's still going. The guitar stop playing, if I don't stop playing, the song's still going. The singer gonna walk off. If I don't stop playing, the song's still going. If I stop playing, the song stop. The drummer has all the power. Drummer has all the power. And as a drummer, once you understand that, the better off you'll be. The more important you'll realize you are. The more, yeah, you'll, and not only that, know your value in a situation. There's certain situations there's opportunities I had where I was like, no. If I'm gonna walk in, like if I walk into a situation and like there's situations I had where I could have just stayed the drummer, and I know my value. I'm not a bum on drums. I'm pretty decent. I'm all right, man. I'm not as good as I think I am. Not as bad as I think I am. But I know if I walk into a room, I'm gonna scare it. If somebody plays drums, I'm gonna scare them. I know it. I'm not because I'm not a. You know what I mean? Do I stay, getting paid as a side man? And that only works, man, is if you're on the road. The moment you're on the road, you stop getting paid, then you're scrambling for other gigs. Or do you contribute to the songwriting of the band? Or do you know what I mean? Because then you're getting a percentage of publishing, so you don't have to be on the road. You have publishing. So for me, when I walk into a situation, I want a slice of the publishing because I'm going to be writing some of the songs. Because I'm not going to be getting paid because like I can't afford to have to always be on the road or have to always be hustling for a gig. I can't afford that. I got a wife and I got a bunch of kids. I got 4 kids. Me and my wife are raising 4 kids. I don't plan on spending all the time I can on the road. You know what I mean? So whenever I walked into a situation, I was always like, I need a slice of the pie. So I wrote some of the songs. You know what I mean? And and you can always tell people like, like, okay, until you start writing good stuff. And then they're like, oh, that's kind of hot right there. You want to, yeah, okay. Uh-huh. Oh, well, and then it becomes, you got your publishing? Yeah, I got my publishing. Beat Culture Publishing. Yep, yeah. hmm Yeah, sure. Matter of fact, if you don't have your publishing, you can sign on to mine. Of course, I want to cut. That's how you got to be. And you have to be shrewd, man, or you're just going to end up, I call it as it is, man. You end up like a monkey chasing gigs, bro. You end up like a trained monkey having to chase gigs, and they pay you per diem, that's it. You know what I mean? You don't get no publishing, you don't get no points, you don't get nothing. You know what I mean? You have a Coke and a smile and shut up, sit in the corner, play drums when I tell you to. And hope they don't get a cheaper young dude to come replace you. Nah, dog, nope. You got to think about that kind of stuff. I'll be back. Go hang out with my family.